Fallen Kingdom is directed by J.A. Buyena. He's actually, I probably said that name wrong, but he's actually made some really great films. To start out his career, he made this movie called The Orphanage, which is a horror film. He made The Impossible, which is a tsunami film that stars Spider-Man and Obi-Wan Kenobi, Tom Holland and Ewan McGregor. And then he also made a movie called Monster Calls, which is one of my more favorite fantastical type fantasy movies that's come out in the past few years. It has Liam Neeson and Felicity Jones. All three of those movies are super great, and I guess suggest everyone to check them out. This film is a sequel to Jurassic World that came out in 2015. That film I thought was good, but not great, and after the nostalgia kind of weared off after my first viewing, I didn't like it like a ton. I thought it was like pretty good, average to good. And I saw that he was on to direct it. I saw that Chris Pratt was back. I saw that Bryce Dallas Howard was back. I saw that Goldblum was supposed to be in it, and I was like, yes, I'm so on board. I love the Jurassic Park franchise, I guess. At least two of them a lot, the first two. So I was super on board, and gotta be honest, guys, I did not like this one. Not very much at all, actually. This film picks up 4 years after the events of Jurassic World. You know, they tried to have the park again and it failed, obviously. It picks up 4 years after, and we start out with Bryce Dallas Howard, who is being asked to go back to the island and try to save as many of the species as she can, because there is a volcano. Because, of course, they built the park on an island with a volcano. Not the biggest of my problems with the movie, but let's go on. It starts out very similar to The Lost World, which I actually like a lot. The second Jurassic Park movie with Jeff Goldblum as the main lead, and Vince Vaughn's in it too. I like that one a lot, actually. I think it's more underrated. But anyways, starts out like that, and honestly, the opening 10 minutes or so of the movie are fantastic. They're super cool, and they have some of the better action scenes of the whole movie. Chris Pratt is she quickly asked Chris Pratt to go along, and his motivation for going along isn't given really. They're not together anymore at the start of the film. I don't think I'm spoiling anything too specific here. I won't go into any heavy spoilers towards the end. This is all stuff that happens in the first 10 to 15 minutes of the movie. But anyways, he's not really given any kind of motivation to go along. He just does it. He has a moment, I guess maybe just because he still has feelings for Bryce Dallas Howard. I guess that's what we're given. That's fine. He is not given a whole lot to work with with this script. He is a hilarious guy, and I love Chris Pratt, but the movie brings along a different comic relief in this guy that works at a call center at the start of the movie with Bryce Dallas Howard, and for some reason is also a hacker. That's not explained, but he apparently is a hacker, and Bryce Dallas Howard her character feels like she needs to bring him along to go to the place of the dinosaurs, even though he self-proclaimed that he is terrified of them and everything. I honestly hate his character in the movie. No offense to the actor or anything. He does fine with what he's given, but he just kind of screams and runs away and is scared the whole movie, and then it's just such a bland character. I don't know. Honestly, the characters in this movie, I like Bryce Dallas Howard. I think she's a good actress. I like Chris Pratt, but they're given no arc in this movie whatsoever, and they kind of stay the same the whole time. They aren't really given any kind of there's not really an arc at all. Honestly, it's weird. I don't understand. The best relationship in this whole film is between Chris Pratt and Blue, the Velociraptor, which is cool. That's an interesting way to do it. But at the same time, if your best relationship in the movie is between a creature that doesn't exist and Chris Pratt, I don't know. I don't know about this movie, guys. It seems like I'm doing all complaints with this movie, but I first saw it and I was like, And then like the next day I was like, I really didn't like that movie, which sucks, but it happens sometimes. The marketing for this movie has been really bad. Like, it shows so much of the movie once you get in there. Like, the whole end scene of the movie is in there, which is, like, I hate that whenever movies do that. And another thing I hate is whenever trailers and things have a character, a famous actor, or someone that they're bringing back who is in the movie, like, 2-3 minutes tops, with Jeff Goldblum in this. Like, no spoiler, but he's not in this movie. He gives like a press conference in it. It's like the same thing, that people get irritated like with Jared Leto and Suicide Squad. I mean, that's a completely different case, but at the same time, it irritates me whenever it almost feels like I'm getting tricked, and that sucks. But anyways, the opening with that also has been shown in the trailer, that the island's blowing up. The whole disaster sequence there, I can't fault it. It's very good, actually. It looks good. The special effects are very good. The directing on this movie is actually pretty good. It's just the writing is so bad, like the dialogue and everything. I just really didn't like it. There's some... I'll just go ahead and say it. If you've seen like the trailers and stuff like that, you see that like they end up going on shore, just like in Lost World, and they end up going onto the mainland. And after the first half of the disaster sequences, the rest of the movie kind of plays out like a gothic horror type stuff that's all in like this one mansion with dinosaurs running around the house. That's just constant scenes of like really, really dark, and then you see like a claws coming out, or like a velociraptor's head coming out or something like that. Just didn't work for me at all. I didn't like it. I like dinosaurs in like bigger open areas. Another thing this movie does is it replays a lot of beats, I guess for nostalgia purposes, like either with a different like scenes that we've seen in the past, or similar in the new characters react to them in like a different way or something like that. None of them worked for me. I thought they were stupid, even though I have a big nostalgia factor for the Jurassic Park franchise. It's just, how many times can you show a T-Rex like eating something and then doing like the side pose that's in the original Jurassic Park with like like the posters and everything coming down? This movie does it like twice, and it did it in Jurassic World. I'm just tired of that. You can think of something better to do, I think. You don't have to constantly play off the same beats every time. I don't know, I'm sure this will make a ton of money, and like a lot of the people coming out of the theater seemed thrilled and happy with it. So sometimes I think I can be too critical of stuff, but at the same time, I didn't really like it. Also, I feel like this movie missed a opportunity to have some interesting conversations about like the morals of going back to this place and bringing these dinosaurs back to life, or whatever, or not bringing back to life, but like keeping the species alive and making sure they don't go extinct a second time. The original Jurassic Park and even the Lost World a little bit had really interesting conversations between Malcolm and Hammond and Dr. Grant about like the morals and the ethics of like keeping these things alive, whether they should just if it was like an act of God that took them out, or if they should just stay that way. And this whole movie, I think, missed a big opportunity where they don't really discuss it that much about like whether they should keep these alive or whether they should keep the species alive. Instead, it boils down to like a couple decisions, but they don't really talk about it. It just kind of happens. I feel like they missed an opportunity there that could have developed some characters and could have like made me like it a little bit more. At the end of the day, the biggest problem I had with this movie is I just didn't have fun. I didn't think it was that fun. I didn't think the action sequences were like super entertaining, which sucks because they look great and they have some like cool dinosaurs and stuff like that, but I just didn't think it was a fun movie, which sucks because I really thought, like, even Jurassic World I thought was a fun movie. There were times where I was like, yeah, and stuff like that. And the other one, in the first Jurassic World, the scene with like the bubbles and stuff going around, I thought that was really cool, but man, this one just didn't really have anything like that, which sucks. It had some great shots in it. There's some really cool shots. Most of them are in the trailer, but had some great shots in it that just looked great and everything, and it The cinematography was good. The music was good. Just the story was terrible, honestly, which sucks. I didn't even talk about the child character in this movie. About like more than I guess about 75% of the way through, there's like a revelation with her, and it is terrible. It was so out of left field and so ridiculous that I just laughed. You know, I didn't like audibly like try and make fun of it because I don't want to be that guy in the theater, but I was just like, what? Like, I couldn't believe they did that. Like about a little bit through the movie, you know. Overall, I'm gonna give this movie a 5.5 out of 10, which is pretty low. I was thinking around 6, like when I first saw it, but I wanted to go lower because I think it has a lot wrong with it. In just a second, I want to talk about where the series can go from here, because the ending of this movie does open it up a bunch, but I'm just gonna go ahead and say spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie, go ahead and stop now. Okay? Okay. So that means spoiler territory. That means you saw the movie, you endured. You also endured my review somehow. And I just want to talk really quickly about actually something cool the series could do after this. So the film ends, they open it up, they let all the dinosaurs out and roam the free world and everything, and you see that shot in the trailer of like the megalodon type thing, you know, chasing the surfers and everything. Malcolm says, "Welcome to Jurassic World." And there's actually an after credit scene of this movie too, which you can probably look up online if you missed it. Something I think this series could do, and should do for that matter, is pull a Rise of the Planet of the Apes, or is it Dawn? The second of the recent Planet of the Apes trilogy, where it has a huge time jump, and then you see mankind is in a completely different state. The apes have like their whole like little like place built up and everything like that. I'm not saying I want like the dinosaurs to have their own like, you know, encampment. I'm not saying I want Blue to be like the Caesar of this world or anything like that. I'm not saying that stuff. What I'm saying is it would be really cool if there's a time jump and we pick up and the world is in a completely different state, because, you know, there's dinosaurs everywhere, like roaming around and eating stuff, eating people and everything. I think that could be really cool if they, you know, it finally is Jurassic World, not just Jurassic Park named world, you know, that this series is, where it actually is, you know, the world, there's dinosaurs everywhere, and just seeing how like humans cope with that and everything, I think could make a really cool movie. So I guess just to wrap up this up, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, it was more of a nah on the good or nah for me, but I'm hoping that I'm sure they'll make a third one. This movie's, I actually looked it up, it's over 700 million already worldwide, which is well over its budget, so the third one's coming in the next few years, guys, for sure. I'm hoping they change up the formula, maybe do that time jump like I was saying, and I'm hoping for the next one to be a little bit better, because I feel like we can do better, you know? Anyways, hope you enjoyed that review. I'm going to be posting a lot more if I haven't already. Go ahead and like and subscribe if you wouldn't mind. And also, feel free to give me comments or anything like that. I'll be happy to communicate with any of you guys. And just let me know what you like or what you didn't like about the review or about the actual movie. I love talking about films with people. Anyways, I'm going to be posting lots more reviews about old films, foreign films, terrible films, great films. I see everything, guys. You already know that. Anyways, thanks a lot.